In our last clip, we discussed some of the differences between the quack doctors and the certified doctors' medicines, as well as some of the herbal remedies that they would have possibly used. Now, of course, some of these that we talked about, such as chamomile, mint, lavender, yarrow, so on and so forth, they will be discussed in one of our later videos. But when it comes to the average medicine that was being used in the apothecary shop for the different purposes of making medicines or tinctures or even poultices, they could be very varied, and they could also be very exotic. Now, to that we have to turn to this one particular account of what was actually being kept up in an apothecary shop. Of course, one of the first things you see are going to be 5 varieties of urine and 14 of blood, as well as the saliva, sweat, and fat of various animals. But, of course, no apothecary or medicinal shop is complete without poop. You heard me correctly, folks. No apothecary is complete without poop. Go figure. I don't know. But what I have found in my studies is that the pharmacists, they would keep their shelves stocked with, and I quote, turds of a goose, of a dog, of a goat, pigeons, of a stone horse. Not sure what a stone horse is yet. I haven't found the meaning for that, but it's the turds of a horse. Why are we even questioning this? We also have the turds of a hen, of swallows, of men, of women, of mice, or mice and men. Thank you very much. Next shows in 5. We also have the turds of a peacock, of a hog, and of a heifer. Yeah. That's a crappy position to be in. But we also see, too, that there were more than just different means of poop, sweat, blood, and urine and fat from different animals. In an apothecary, you could also find the genitalia of stags and bulls, frogs' lungs, castrated cats, ants, and millipedes. Now, some of the more bizarre ones, we're definitely going to be holding on because we got to save the best for last. Now, with some of these here, I've studied and I've tried to research and see if there's any medical benefit to these. Nary one. So we have the discarded nail clippings from different people, which were used to provoke vomiting. Of course, vomiting was to help go ahead and redress the balance of the humors. Also, you would keep in store a good supply of skulls of those who had died a violent death, which was a treatment for epilepsy. And we also have powdered mummy. No, not your mummy, not your mommy, actual Egyptian mummy that was ground up into a fine powder, which would then be used to help treat asthma, bruising, and tuberculosis. So now you kind of have just a small glimpse as to what people would have been keeping in the apothecaries on a regular basis. And all these medicines would have been brought into call at some point or another as the situation dictated. And this one particular situation comes to mind throughout my studies, and that is in 1702, the Earl of Kent was playing a game of bowls when suddenly he collapsed and was unresponsive. Fortunately, there was a physician nearby named Charles Goodall who was able to arrive on the scene within mere minutes. Well, Mr. Goodall, as any physician would from the very beginning, he goes ahead and he draws a little over a half a pint of blood from the Earl of Kent. And from there, he tries to pack his nostrils full of snuff and also pour antimonial wine, a toxic mixture, down his throat. By this, he hoped to extract an extreme reaction to revive the patient, which would have been sneezing, coughing, and vomiting. But the Earl of Kent still remained unresponsive, so Dr. Goodall knew he had his work cut out for him and was going to have to work even harder to save his life. We'll discuss the treatment of the Earl of Kent in our next clip.